So if you're someone who thinks and creates in public, you've probably felt it, right? This strange new pressure. It feels like the rules for building credibility have been completely rewritten, especially now that pretty much anyone and anything can sound perfectly polished. Today, we're going to dig into how to navigate this completely new world.
And here's the heart of the problem. Think about it. Polished writing, a really well-structured argument, even being super fast, those used to be reliable signs of effort and expertise. Now, with AI, they're available to everyone on demand. They've become cheap signals.
And that, of course, leads us to the big, kind of anxious question that's probably on your mind. If the tools that make us sound smart are available to literally everyone, how do we stand out? How do we prove our thinking is our own and that it actually matters?
To figure out where we're going, we first have to take a quick look back at the world we just left. Let's break down how trust and credibility actually used to work.
It really wasn't that long ago that the whole system was pretty straightforward. The sheer difficulty of producing high-quality content, that acted as a natural filter. If you could do it, people just assumed you were credible, because that visible effort was the proof of substance.
But yeah, that world is gone. Poof! That filter has completely vanished. A perfectly structured, eloquently written piece can be generated in seconds. The barrier to entry for just sounding credible has totally disappeared.
And this is the fear that's bubbling right under the surface for so many of us who create things. It's this fear of becoming generic, of your unique perspective just getting flattened out into a huge sea of automated, perfectly adequate content. But what if that's the wrong fear to have? What's really interesting is how this whole situation reframes the problem. You see, AI isn't the villain in this story. It's more like a giant spotlight. This is so key. AI didn't create a world of hollow ideas. It just made them so much easier to see. It basically stripped away the fancy packaging and forced us all to look at the quality of the thinking underneath.
This, right here, is the fundamental shift. The old signals, things like polish, that visible effort, speed, they're abundant now. But the new signals, that's what's become incredibly rare and valuable. The actual substance of your ideas, the quality of your judgment, and the coherence of your thinking over a long period of time.
Okay, so if substance and judgment are the new gold standard, how do we signal them? Well, the answer is to develop something much more robust than just an opinion. Let's dive into this idea of having a position.
See, an opinion is just a reaction. AI can generate endless opinions because they don't require any ownership or consistency. But a position? That's different. It's structured, it's built from your core values, and it forces you to make trade-offs and actually stand for something.
A position isn't just a hot take. It's an orientation. It's a framework that connects your ideas over time and shows you've done the really hard work of deciding what truly matters. And that is incredibly difficult to fake.
Now here's the really counterintuitive twist. The very tool that's causing all this anxiety can be the key to developing a stronger position. It all comes down to how you use it.
Let's be clear. Audiences are not going to punish you for using a tool. What they will do is tune you out if your thinking is vague or your ideas just feel hollow. The risk isn't the tool itself. It's using the tool to hide a lack of real thought.
And this requires a whole new definition of voice. Your real voice isn't just the words you choose or your writing style. AI can mimic that in a second. No, your real voice is your judgment made visible. It's that unique pattern of what you consistently decide is important.
So the right way to think about this is, don't ask AI to give you ideas. Instead, bring your own ideas to the AI. Use it like a sparring partner to stress test them, find their weaknesses, and ultimately make them stronger before you share them with the world.
Okay, so let's get practical. How do you actually use AI as a pressure chamber for your thinking? Here is a concrete process you can start using right away.
You're going to treat the AI like your own private, brutally honest editorial board. Before you publish anything, ask it these 3 questions. The first 2 sharpen your argument in the moment, but that third one, where does it contradict things I've said before? That's the game changer. It forces you to build coherence over time, which is the absolute bedrock of a real position.
Here's a simple rule to live by. If you can't defend an idea on your own without the AI, you haven't truly integrated the thinking. You're just borrowing its authority, and audiences can feel that mismatch a mile away.
You know, all of this isn't about winning a single news cycle or going viral. It's about building lasting trust and authority. So let's zoom out and look at the principles for playing the long game.
These are the mindsets that win. First, slow down. Seriously, just because you can publish constantly doesn't mean you should. Real momentum comes from consistent direction, not just speed. Second, be transparent about your uncertainty. It actually shows respect for your audience. And third, aim for coherence, not rigidity. Show how your thinking evolves rather than just jumping from trend to trend.
This is such a powerful way to frame it. AI didn't raise the ceiling for public thinking, it lowered the floor. It made producing decent-looking content incredibly easy for absolutely anyone. But because of that, those with real substance and a coherent position now stand out more than ever before. The gap between surface fluency and genuine insight is now impossible to hide.
So the winners in this new era, they won't be the people who avoid AI, and they definitely won't be the ones who let it do all the work. They will be the ones who master the partnership, using these powerful tools to sharpen their own uniquely human judgment.
So if you've been feeling uneasy about all this, here's the good news. Credibility hasn't been destroyed by AI. The fog has just been lifted. For those who are willing to do the real work of thinking, this is an opportunity to finally let your substance shine.